morning. Welcome to new program number 962. Okay, gain fluency. Page 51 at the top. A lot of paragraphs here. There are a lot of paragraphs in this book. You need to repeat them aloud. Memorize them and repeat each paragraph aloud 200 times if possible to gain fluency, to gain confidence, to gain flow when you speak. And try to act. For example, this one. My neighbor won $40 million in the Powerball lottery. Lottery es lotería. Powerball, bola de potencia, bola de poder. Powerball, in the United States, la Lotería Nacional se llama Powerball. No sé por qué. Powerball. Poder, pelota, Powerball. Okay. The Powerball lottery. And now, my neighbor, el vecino al lado, my neighbor won $40 million in the Powerball lottery. Ahora bien, ahora hay que decirlo como un buen actor teatral. My neighbor won $40 million in the Powerball lottery. Can you believe it? Yeah. And the first thing he did, ¿qué es lo primero que hizo? And the first thing he did was to buy a flashy red Ferrari. Un flamante Ferrari rojo, wow. Flash como un flash. Flashy means flamante, flashy. Yeah. A flashy red Ferrari. Ferrari. Los británicos, Ferrari. A flashy red Ferrari. The first thing he did, my neighbor won $40 million in the Powerball lottery. And the first thing he did was, dos verbos en el pasado simple. And the first thing he did was to buy a flashy red Ferrari. He's a lucky man. Suerte ha tenido el tío, eh? He's a lucky man. Yeah. He has 7 kids. 7 retoños. He has 7 kids. And his wife is unemployed. Y la mujer está en paro. His wife is empleada, decimos. Unemployed. Which means very good. I mean, if your wife is unemployed and you have 7 kids, I recommend that you win the Powerball lottery. It's my only recommendation. And then you can buy a flashy red Ferrari and take care of your wife and the kids with no problem for the rest of your life. $40 million lasts a long time. Okay. And if you invest the money properly, if you administer or manage the money well, you can make it grow. My neighbor won $40 million in the Powerball lottery, and the first thing he did was to buy a flashy red Ferrari. He's a lucky man. He has 7 kids, and his wife is unemployed. Mira, Marta lo he memorizado yo a la primera o a la segunda. Yeah, not bad. I don't memorize these before Marta turns on the camera. I don't memorize these paragraphs. I memorize them as I'm reading to you on the air, on television. Next paragraph on page 51, paragraph number 432. We're approaching the middle. It's really convenient having a pharmacy just around the corner. Yes. If I need to buy aspirin or fill a prescription, all I have to do is go downstairs and walk 30 meters, and it's open 24 hours a day. All right. Okay. This is similar to me, but it's not open 24 hours a day. But in this case, yes. It's really convenient. Es realmente conveniente. No. Convenient no significa conveniente en inglés. Significa cómodo. Es realmente cómodo tener una farmacia justo a la vuelta de la esquina. It's really convenient. Having. También to have. You can use the infinitive or the gerund. It's really convenient to have a pharmacy. It's really convenient. Cómodo. Ahora, cómodo de confort is comfortable. This is a comfortable chair. It's not a convenient chair. But it's convenient having this radio studio near my office. Yes, it's very convenient. It's really convenient having a pharmacy just around the corner. If I need to buy aspirina, if I need to buy aspirin or fill a prescription, all I have to do, lo único que tengo que hacer. En inglés dice todo lo que tengo que hacer. The only thing, también se puede decir, the only thing I have to do, all I have to do is go downstairs and walk 30 meters. And it's open 24 hours a day. It's really convenient. Comodidad de tenerlo muy a mano, muy al lado. It's convenient. It's really convenient having a pharmacy just around the corner. Yes. If I need to buy aspirin or fill a prescription, literalmente llenar una prescripción es llevar una receta médica y que te atiendan la receta. To fill it, I don't know why we say to fill a prescription. Because in the United States, the doctor writes a prescription and you take it to the pharmacy and usually you need to wait about 5 minutes because the pharmacist prepares the prescription como si fuera una receta magistral, algo así. And they prepare it. They don't give you a package. Here, you get the impression the pharmacist is un despachador de medicamentos. Yeah, un tendero. It seems. But in the United States, no, you need to wait. In every pharmacy in the United States, there are chairs for people to sit down and wait as the pharmacist or the pharmacist's assistant prepares and then they put it in capsules. Los meten en cápsulas. And they put a little, and the only instructions you receive are the instructions of a medication. 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Take 1 lozenge or 1 pill 3 times a day. And that's the only information you have. Here in Spain, you have un prospecto que casi un libro. Wow. Yeah. Which is interesting, but in the States, there's nothing. It's a mystery. For the patient, it's a mystery. It's between the doctor and the pharmacist. The doctor and the pharmacist have a special connection, and the patient is in the dark. I don't know which is better. I don't know. It's more convenient here. You go to the pharmacy, you give the pharmacist the prescription, the pharmacist goes back and brings you a package, 3 euros or something. Yeah, and that's it. But here it's to fill a prescription. It's really convenient having a pharmacy just around the corner. Yes. If I need to buy aspirin or fill a prescription, all I have to do is go downstairs and walk 30 meters. Not bad. And it's open 24 hours a day. So if I have a splitting headache, jaqueca, a splitting headache en mi parte, la split is partida en 2 mitades. If I have a splitting headache, I can go downstairs at 3 o'clock in the morning and buy aspirin or ibuprofen or paracetamol or something stronger maybe. But I need a prescription for something stronger. All right. So let's go on. I'm glad. Paragraph number 433. Page 51. I'm glad you brought up the subject. My opinion is that we should wait. I've never been in favor of accepting the lowest offers. They can often end up being the most expensive. Claro, lo barato es caro. Casi siempre, ojo. Acaba siendo caro. I'm glad you brought up the subject. Memorize this line. I'm glad you brought up the subject. Me alegro de que hayas sacado el tema. Me alegro de que sacaras en inglés. I'm glad you brought up the subject. I'm glad you brought up the subject. My opinion is that we should wait. ¿Así? Yeah. Mi opinión es que deberíamos esperar. My opinion is that we should wait. I've never been in favor of accepting the lowest offers, las ofertas más bajas o baratas. Nunca he sido partidario de aceptar las ofertas más baratas. Yes. They can often end up being more expensive. Bueno, dice aquí, they can often end up being the most expensive. A menudo pueden terminar siendo las más caras. All right. It's true. Be careful with the lowest price, especially for a service. For a service. For a product, you can test the product. For a service, the cheapest is often the most expensive. Because you pay less, yes. It's less expensive, but you receive nothing. Nothing. So, and in English teaching, usually the lowest price is the most expensive because pagas menos a cambio de nada. El otro pagas más a cambio de algo. All right? Dividido por cero, porque recibes cero. El dividir por cero es infinito. Entonces es infinitamente más caro. All right? It's infinitely more expensive. All right. And this says, I'm glad you brought up the subject. Frase muy corriente. I'm glad you brought up. I'm glad you brought up the subject. My opinion, fijaos, opinion, ¿cómo lo pronuncio? Es una O, pero se pronuncia casi como una A. Opinion. A pen, a pencil, a table, opinion. Un piñón. Yes, opinión fijo. Un piñón is opinion. ¿Cuál es tu opinión sobre un piñón? What's your opinion of opinion? What's my opinion of opinion? I have no opinion concerning pinions, okay? Yes. Okay, my opinion. So my opinion, las cosas que hago para mis alumnos, My opinion is that deberíamos esperar, we should wait. My opinion is that. Mi opinión es que deberíamos. My opinion is that. My opinion is that we should wait. I've never been in favor of, en favor de, se dice en inglés. I've never been in favor of accepting, a favor de aceptar. In favor of es preposición, por lo tanto gerundio, of accepting, aceptando. I've never been in favor of accepting the lowest offer. The lowest, la oferta más baja en precio. I've never been in favor of accepting the lowest offer. They can often end up being the most expensive. They can, esas ofertas pueden a menudo, they can often end up being, terminar por ser las más caras. They can often end up being the most expensive. I'm glad you brought up the subject. My opinion is that we should wait. I've never been in favor of accepting the lowest offer. They can often end up being the most expensive. They can often end up. La D de end manda con up después. End up. End up. La D de end se une a la U de up. They can often end up being the most expensive. Next one, 434. All right. Let's see. Can you hold this for a moment? Dice for a moment, for a minute. For a minute. Siempre se dice for a minute or for a second. Can you hold this for a minute? Can you hold this for a minute? ¿Puedes sujetar esto un momento? Can you hold this for a minute? I can't carry everything to the kitchen. Tenemos que llevar todo esto a la cocina, Marta. Oh. Can you hold this for a minute? I can't carry. Yo no puedo llevar. I can't carry. I can't carry. No digo can't. I can't carry. Ahora, si fuera afirmativo, que sí puedo llevar, sin problema, sin problema. I can carry. No problem. I can carry everything. No problem. I can't carry. I can carry. It's a different intonation totally for the negative and the affirmative. I can't carry everything. ¿Dónde estoy? I can't carry everything to the kitchen in one trip. En un solo viaje. One trip. I can't carry everything to the kitchen in one trip. Can you hold this for me? Yeah. Can you hold this for me for a minute? 2 veces. Can you hold this for me? ¿Puedes sujetar esto para mí por un momento? Por un minuto? Can you hold this for me for a minute? I can't carry everything to the kitchen in one trip. Not even in 2. Ni siquiera en 2 viajes. Not even in 2. Sometimes I wish I had 3 arms. A veces ojalá tuviera. Sometimes I wish I had 3 arms. Yeah, then I could carry things in 2 hands, and the 3rd arm can open the door. Yeah. That door is a door handle. If I have 3 arms, that means I have 3 elbows. Yeah. Now I can use 1 elbow. I can carry 3 arms and use my elbow as a 4th arm. So it's really, if you have 3 arms, it's almost like having 4 or 5 arms. All right, and then I can carry everything to the kitchen in only one trip, but not here. Can you hold this for me? Can you hold this for me for a minute? Can you hold this for me? Can you hold this for me for a minute? I can't carry everything to the kitchen in one trip. I can't carry everything to the kitchen in one trip. Not even in 2, dice, ¿no? Ni siquiera en 2. Not even in 2. Sometimes I wish, ojalá tuviera 3 brazos. A veces me entran ganas de tener 3 brazos. Sometimes I wish I had. Ojalá tenía, decimos en inglés, tuviera. I wish I had 3 arms. But I don't. Tengo que apañarme con solo 2. I have to get by with only 2 arms. Yeah. 2 arms in this world. Yeah. But at least I have, my arms work. I can grab pencils, I can do things. But look at the poor Tyrannosaurus Rex, the dinosaur, Tyrannosaurus Rex. He has 2 arms, but he can't use them. So when the Tyrannosaurus family, they're sitting at the dinner table to have dinner, they have a dilemma. We can't eat. Darling, they can't have dinner. So you can imagine the dinner table, the mesa de cena, in the dining room, and the Tyrannosaurus family is looking at the food, trying to figure out how to eat it. So they need long utensils, long forks and long knives, in order to eat. That's a dilemma. Maybe that's the reason the Tyrannosaurus Rex went extinct. The extinction of the dinosaurs. Maybe it's because they couldn't eat, because of their arms. All right, let's go on. 425, okay? The other day I decided to take a walk. And I passed by, esto es verdad, pero esto hace unos años. Bueno, paso por catedrales. Bueno, en Madrid no hay ningún catedral. Yes, la Almudena is the cathedral. But the Almudena is very recent. Maybe 25 years ago, they finished the Almudena. Before that, Madrid didn't have a cathedral. It had a basilica. The San Francisco el Grande was the basilica. But they didn't have a cathedral. Now we have a cathedral in Madrid. Yes. All right. La Almudena. So, the other day, I decided to take a walk. And I passed by the cathedral. Pasé al lado de la catedral. I passed by the cathedral. Yes. I hadn't been inside in a long time. I hadn't been, pluscuamperfecto, no había estado dentro hacía mucho tiempo. I hadn't been inside in a long time, so I decided to go in. Esto es verdad, pero no es la Catedral de Madrid. It's the, what's the name of the church? Very, very beautiful, very nice church behind the Prado Museum. That's where Alfonso XIII got married. I can't remember the name of the church, my God. And for 3 years I lived 2 blocks from it. And then, Los Jerónimos? I can't remember. But in any case, I walked in. So this is true, but it's not a cathedral. The other day, I decided to take a walk. And I passed by the cathedral. I hadn't been inside for a long time, or in a long time. Do you think in or for? No había estado dentro. Hacía mucho tiempo que no había estado dentro. I hadn't been inside for a long time. I hadn't been inside in a long time. So, I decided to go in. Aquí tenemos decided 2 veces. Okay? So I decided to go in. There were probably 200 people there for a baptism. It was crowded. Wow, a lot of people in the cathedral. And then I saw at the front a little baby. And, it was the baptism of the baby. Yes. So, the other day I decided to take a walk, and I passed by the cathedral. I hadn't been inside in a long time, so I decided to go in. There were probably 200 people there for a baptism. Además, besides, now is allergy season for me. So I sneeze 30 times a day, and my eyes itch. My eyes itch, and I sneeze, and I suffer. I suffer so much. Oh, yes. The other day I decided to take a walk, and I passed by the cathedral. I hadn't been inside in a long time, so I decided to go in. There were probably 200 people there. Había probablemente 200 personas allí. There were probably 200 people there for a baptism. Okay. And this, you understand, right? Yeah. One more. This is true. This happened to me when I was 14. 14 o 15 años. 14. I was 14. Yeah. On the first day of class, I chose a desk in front of an attractive girl. The very first day of class. Entras en un aula en septiembre, al inicio, primer día de inicio de clases. And you come into the classroom, bam! You choose, bueno, lejos, at the back, No, I went to the final row where the window is, and why? Because I took the desk in front of a very attractive girl. I remember her name, Lynn Wiley. Lynn Wiley. She was very attractive, very good looking. And so, on the first day of class, I chose a desk, un pupitre, just in front of an attractive girl. A moment later, she tapped me on my shoulder. She tap, knock, tap. Tapping. Somebody's tapping on the door. Somebody's knocking on the door. So she tapped me on the shoulder. Todo esto es verdad. She tapped me on the shoulder and told me my sweater still had the price tag attached to it. La etiqueta de precio y todo. I didn't take it off. So I was sitting there, and she's, yeah. By the way, your price tag is still on the sweater. Oh, really? Yeah, I can take it off for you. Okay. She took it off for me. During the year, era un semestre nada más, luego cambiamos de colegio. But during that semester, she tapped me on the shoulder many times. But tapping something. Sí, ¿cuál es la respuesta al número 6? Sí, number 6. Huh? Number 6. Acabar de más infinitivo, acabo de ir. It was a Spanish class, by the way. Acabar de más infinitivo is yo. I have just eaten. Acabo de comer. I have just begun. Acabo de comenzar. I have just finished. Acabo de terminar. It says, acabar de más infinitivo. Number 6. Okay. Lynn Wiley. I can find a picture if you want, but maybe for tomorrow. See you tomorrow.